My name is Robbie. I was born and raised in Santa Rosa, California by my dad, Robert, and my mom, Karen. She left when I was young. I didn't grow up in a religious background. My dad, basically, we did midnight mass and that was it. And I grew up basically with just being around a workaholic. All he did was work. I started working when I was 13 years old and not really paying attention to school because I always got rewarded. If I got kicked out of school, you got put to work. Got kicked out, go to work. So I really didn't pay attention to school. Around 15 years old when I got my license, I really started chasing the money and didn't have a purpose in life. 17 years old, dropped out of school, went to work full time. Had a kid when I was super young, but I felt empty. Even when I got my first marriage, had kids, I felt empty. Like there was something missing. Couldn't figure out what it was. 2020, I had lost my dad and lost him to cancer. He died. And my world fell apart. Went through a divorce, lost my dad all in the same year. And it was dark. I was basically alcohol, drugs, you name it, I was going through it. And I was to the point where I was about to throw in the towel. I was done, had no purpose in life anymore. And December 18th, 2021, I met Amanda, my wife now, and we got married a short time after, and my life felt whole again.
My name is Amanda Cream, and I was born and raised in Petaluma by my parents, Tim and Carol Fuller. I was raised in a loving home, but a very non-religious home. When we prayed, it was either at a holiday, at a relative's house, or when somebody was sick or in trouble. So I didn't know that it was possible to have a real relationship with God. From a very young age, I felt like something in my life was missing. By the age of 13, I was addicted to meth and living a lifestyle that no child should ever have to go through. I was always looking for something outside of myself to make me feel whole and make me feel better, and I just couldn't find it. And that often led to a lot of hardship and trauma. And I struggled with addiction for several years, off and on, managing to get clean for short periods of time, thinking I could do it for my children or my family. And it always led back to addiction in some form. On September 1st, 2013, I hit one of my bottoms, and through jails and institutions, I was able to get clean and sober. And my relationship with God during my entire life in addiction was one of bargaining. So when I thought my life was in danger or I was going to go back to jail, I would bargain with God, and I would say, if you just get me out of this one more time, I'll do this in return. And he always kept up his end of the bargain, and I never kept up mine. I did manage to stop using substances at that time, but still felt that something was really missing and was unhappy. And so this went on for a number of years. And then I met my now husband in 2021, and we had a good marriage at first.
But then after a while, I started feeling that void again. I felt something missing, and it felt even more with my dad gone, but I still felt something missing. We had our ups and downs. In June, we had a huge falling out. Between me and her, we had a huge falling out. We were done. We were gonna get a divorce. It was over.
It wasn't until June of 2022 that I had my friends, Brandon and Emma Giomi, invite me to church, and I came to New Vintage for the first time, and I felt something that I had never felt before. I felt connected. I felt that I actually heard that God loved me, and I never knew that that was even a thing. And it felt really good. And although I didn't know how to enter into this relationship, I felt a real desire to.
One night she calls me and goes, "Hey, my son got in a major car accident. I need you." So I went over her house, started consoling her, took care of her son. He broke his leg. And she was like, hey, I want to make this work. I went to church last weekend and it felt really good. I think in order for us to work, you need to let God into your life. So I said, okay.
And we came back that following weekend, and we haven't left since. And it's just been a miracle, because that void that I've had for the last 40 years is now filled. And it's filled with prayer and community and knowing that God doesn't do these bad things to us. He's there to stand with us through them.
I felt full. I felt that void that I had for all these years. It felt like it was fulfilled. We kept going. I started getting to know people at church. We started doing the marriage group, and I felt that void was gone. Now I'm hungry for more, to learn more about God and letting Him in my life and being there full time for Him now.
My family is all back together. I have all my kiddos in my life, my parents, and I know that that's all because of the grace of God and what He has brought to my life and the woman He has helped me become. And in 10 days, we're going to be welcoming our new baby boy into this world, and I'm excited to raise him in New Vintage and also having a relationship with God. And I'm here to publicly profess that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
I've accepted Jesus into my life, and He's my Lord and Savior.